The saga concludes
Jacob, you're the eldest.
Yes.
with the powerful story of Rachel and Leah.
Eligible bachelor.
What a man.
I've barely met anyone as charming as he.
Will you marry me, Rachel?
Bound by blood,
My own sister broke my heart.
I'm sorry that he doesn't love you.
torn by deceit.
We have all been deceived.
Perhaps there's a way to keep them with him.
You know I would do anything for you.
Hope you remember this moment and your love for me no matter what.
What have you done?
The Faithful continues next Sunday on Fox.
4 incredible voices, 4 final unmaskings. The Masked Singer season finale Wednesday on Fox.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
Thank you for joining us on this Sunday night. For Fox 22 News at 10, I'm Doug Banks. First tonight, authorities are actively investigating an aggravated assault that occurred on Court Street in Bangor. The incident happened at around 5:31 this morning. According to a spokesperson with the Bangor Police Department, authorities received a report of someone injured in an aggravated assault at a residence on Court Street. Details are limited at this time, but Bangor Police says there is no threat to the public. 2 Belfast teenagers have been arrested and charged with arson in connection with a structure fire. According to the Department of Public Safety, the city's fire and police departments were sent to 81 Patterson Hill Road in Belfast early last Friday morning for a reported structure fire. They arrived to a fully involved structure fire. They also located 2 individuals near the scene, 19-year-olds Isaac Cummings and Rowan Lockie, both of Belfast. An investigation determined the fire was intentionally set. Later that afternoon, Fire Marshal's Office investigators charged the 2 19-year-olds with arson. The Department of Public Safety says Cummings and Lockie were both transported to the Somerset County Jail. They're being held on $10,000 cash bail. An arrest was made on Friday in connection to a fire at a convenience store in Howland that occurred over 3 years ago. A Penobscot County grand jury indicted 39-year-old Samantha Randall of Howland on arson charges in connection with the fire. According to the Department of Public Safety, back in November of 2022, firefighters responded to a reported structure fire at the Howland Corner store. First responders confronted active fire conditions and signs of, quote, rapid fire development shortly after the store had closed on that Wednesday evening. Authorities say the investigation remains ongoing and additional arrests or charges are expected. 3 people are displaced tonight after a fire tore through a single-family home in Ripley. At around 12:30 this afternoon, the Dexter Fire Department, which covers the Ripley area, was dispatched to Sevy Road. Upon arrival, officials reported the building was heavily engulfed. The fire was upgraded to a second alarm, triggering mutual aid from neighboring departments in Somerset, Penobscot, and Piscataquis counties. According to the Dexter Fire Captain Steve Brown, despite there not being any hydrants in the area, shuttling water from an external source was not necessary. The homeowner told ABC7 Fox 22 their daughter and their animals were the only ones at the home at the time of the fire, and they are all safe.
Focusing on a brick building that the folks lived in. It's got a flat roof, heavy fire inside. There's batteries that were running the solar panels is apparently what started the blaze. We're focusing on extinguishing those at this time.
Fire officials say the home is a total loss. The family did not have insurance, but a GoFundMe has been started to support the family. We have a link to that on our website, foxbangor.com. Crews in Trenton were called back to the Open Hearth Inn this morning after a fire rekindled. It's the same inn that caught fire and suffered severe damage to one of the main buildings yesterday, which is the footage that's on your screen now. According to the Trenton Volunteer Fire Department, upon arrival this morning, crews found smoke and hot spots in an adjoining roof line. They say multiple layers of shingles had been installed on the building over the years, which allowed heat and fire to extend and smolder in concealed areas. The fire department says those areas are now fully extinguished. The inn's co-manager, Kristen Coombs, told us yesterday that yesterday's fire affected one of the main buildings of the inn where 2 individuals were staying. Those individuals were unharmed and moved to a different location on the property. The Department of Public Safety today said the fire appears to be accidental in nature. However, due to the extent of the fire and structural collapse, the origin and cause of the fire could not be determined. There were a total of 19 fatal work injuries in Maine in 2024. According to a report by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number is 8 less from the year prior. The report also says transportation incidents were the most frequent type of fatal event, accounting for 47% of Maine's fatal work injuries. The construction sector accounted for 6 of Maine's 19 fatal work injuries. 8 workers 55 years old and over died in 2024. Their full report is available on our website, foxbangor.com. The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating California and Maine for state's practices surrounding housing of men with female inmates in its prisons. For here in Maine, it's the Correctional Center down in Windham that's in the spotlight. Specifically, the DOJ says they are investigating allegations that a biological male inmate was allowed to remain housed with women despite complaints that the male inmate had assaulted or harassed female inmates. The U.S. Attorney for the District of Maine, Andrew Benson, said in part, quote, "The U.S. Attorney's Office is committed to protecting the civil rights of all Maine citizens, no matter where they live, and will work with our colleagues in the Civil Rights Division to ensure that this vulnerable population is protected from harm while housed in state custody," end quote. In other news, over 3,000 protests were held across the country on Saturday for what was called a No Kings National Day of Nonviolent Action. That included here in the city of Bangor. Thousands lined the streets from the Paul Bunyan statue to West Market Square to voice disapproval of President Trump's administration. The protest was organized by Indivisible Bangor.
It's pretty encouraging, and it's also powerful. We've had a lot of frustration with this current administration, so seeing a lot of people here who feel the same way, it means a lot.
Bangor's protest was one of dozens across the state. Others included Orono, Calais, Monroe, Dexter, Deer Isle, and more. And one of those locations included Maine's biggest city. A No Kings protest was held at Monument Square in Portland on Saturday. Their protests also included a march through the Old Port. Organizers say they voiced opposition to the war in Iran, ICE, and the ongoing DHS shutdown. Rising oil prices tied to the ongoing war in Iran is impacting communities here in Maine, especially as towns prepare for paving season. Our Alexa Kennedy has the story.
Rising oil prices driven by the conflict in Iran are increasing asphalt costs in Maine, threatening to reduce paving projects and strain municipal budgets. Pain at the pump has been one of the most immediate economic impacts of the conflict, as crude oil prices have surged due to supply disruptions and cuts from major Middle East producers. According to an Associated Press report, Brent crude oil topped $108 per barrel, while U.S. crude neared $98. AP says those rising oil prices are driving up asphalt costs. Maine DOT data shows prices have already increased, and officials say they're closely monitoring trends to assess impacts on project budgets. In Bangor, Public Works Director David Telon says the city is feeling the strain.
Rising fuel costs are obviously impacting activities. They're not slowing us down or stopping us, but they're impacting the budget.
The city is preparing to send paving projects out to bid, but uncertainty remains. Telon says cost increases could vary greatly, but it's too soon to be sure.
We could see a wide swing in the cost of those materials. Until we get that, we really can't analyze it.
That could mean fewer roads get paved this year.
If we have 10 miles worth of paving on there, it'll impact us to reduce the amount of miles we're going to be able to pave this year.
He says with winter damage already taking a toll, delays could have lasting effects.
The condition of our roads coming out of winter especially are in pretty poor condition right now. Potholes opening every day.
Telon warns falling behind now could create bigger problems later.
If we slack off, that means more will need to be done next year, and we'll have to increase our budget to get ahead of it again.
State officials say safeguards like asphalt price adjustments are in place. But if oil prices remain high, both state and local governments may need more funding to keep roads in good condition. In Bangor, Alexa Kennedy, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, a routine select board election in Clifton has turned into a multi-day affair after 2 absentee ballots were discovered outside of the ballot box. Earlier this week, Cynthia Grant was announced to have won by just 1 vote. The thin margin then faced questioning Friday night after 2 additional absentee ballots were discovered in a folder uncounted. Those votes were challenged by a Clifton resident because, according to town attorney Stephen Wagner, the absentee ballots were picked up by a candidate or member of a candidate's immediate family.
The 2 ballots were picked up by a candidate who is the father and husband of the 2 people that voted. We're going to move forward.
Those ballots went uncounted because of that challenge, and that candidate could be held criminally liable. The The election results announced last week will remain valid until or if the Maine Supreme Judicial Court says otherwise. Bath Iron Works and union members have approved a new contract. According to a BIW spokesperson, union members from the Marine Draftsmen's Association voted to ratify the tentative agreement Saturday morning at Brunswick High School. The new 4-year contract goes into effect immediately. This comes after hundreds of union members went on strike last Monday. Now let's hit pause and turn things over to Chase Ropanak, who's in now. The first look at our forecast. Chase?
Thank you very much. Partly cloudy skies out there for today. Brought highs into the low to mid 40s here in Bangor, but just north of town, many of us staying cooler in the 30s, almost close to 40 in Millinocket at 39, but a few degrees above freezing in Prescott at 34 for you, while we had those warmer temperatures reaching the mid 40s. We saw 47 in Sanford near the southwestern portion of the state for today. So for tonight, we're going to see more clouds begin to fill in and temperatures may fall near freezing. So as we get into the early morning hours, I do believe this will pass by a little bit earlier than the model suggests, but right around sunrise, we expect a little bit of a light rain/snow mix kind of passing by before we clear out throughout the afternoon. Expect a line of showers up north for tomorrow afternoon, but we'll still see sunshine here in Bangor. That's going to help us warm up into the 50s for tomorrow. So taking a look at overnight tonight, increasing clouds. We'll see temperatures fall near freezing, and that'll give us a slight chance for some rain and snow showers into tomorrow morning.
Good to know, Chase. Thank you for that report. We'll see you later on the broadcast. Folks, still to come here on Fox 22 News at 10. With lawmakers in Washington gone for a 2-week recess, we'll have the latest on where DHS funding stands. And later on, Maine voters might get the final say on a multi-million-dollar bond package. Those stories and more local news right after the break.
Your call is important to us.
You've heard this before, too many times. Tired of being customer 45978? Yeah, we would be too. Speed means fast uploads, no lag, and zero buffering. But it also means calling you back, showing up on time, and treating you like a person, not a problem. So whether you're working, streaming, gaming, or all three, it is time to make the switch to a provider that actually tries. Go NetSpeed. Service isn't dead. It just moved local.
That is why I don't ride elevators anymore. Okay, what's with you today?
Well, I got away with something I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Jasmine's gonna finish you off. Jasmine!
Enjoying your car.
Yeah, you too.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE for $209 a month, or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. No, it was a big step towards healing. Thank you, Senator Collins. Please continue delivering for T1 families.
When the morning light hits Maine, start your day with a good morning, Maine. Craig Colson, Janessa Bishop, by your side, bringing the stories that matter statewide. Local news and the forecast ahead. Wake up informed, ready to go on ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Still no word at this hour from the White House or Tehran after Pakistan offers to host peace talks to end the war in Iran. This comes as hundreds of American Marines head to the region, with Iran warning the United States against a ground invasion. Fox News chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt has the story.
Some sort of ground operation by U.S. troops may be coming, and it may be coming very soon. But in the meantime, the air war is being prosecuted unabated. CENTCOM releasing more video today of the kind of targets they are going after across Iran. Rocket launchers, military manufacturing sites, for instance. And now the USS Tripoli has arrived in the region. On board that ship are some 2,500 Marines who could could be the spearhead for any U.S. boots going onto any Iranian ground. Iranian officials, meantime, say they are ready for whatever the U.S. has in mind, and a military spokesman issued today what amounted to a dire warning to those U.S. troops.
Aggression and occupation will not result in anything other than humiliating captivity and dismemberment and disappearance of the aggressors. And American commanders and soldiers will become good food for the sharks of the Persian Gulf.
Iran, in the meantime, continues its missile and drone attacks across the region. This video from southern Israel, some sort of chemical plant hit. You can see the huge plume of smoke there, and residents in the area were told to keep their windows closed and their air conditioning off because of the toxic fumes coming as a result of that strike. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke today. He also spoke about the northern front, the fight with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and he said Israeli forces are going to expand what he called the security zone there in southern Lebanon. He calls it a security zone. Many analysts call it an invasion. In Tel Aviv, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
The prospect of ending the weeks-long partial government shutdown remains in limbo. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has the latest from Baltimore.
This was a significant revolt by House Republicans who felt like they were being jammed by the Senate, and it will extend the partial government shutdown with lawmakers gone for a 2-week recess. Overnight, the House passed a stopgap measure to fully fund DHS for 8 weeks, rejecting a bill that the Senate had unanimously passed just hours earlier to fund DHS but not parts of ICE and CBP. House Speaker Mike Johnson was livid.
Chuck Schumer always plays political games. It is shameful, and he is shameless about it. People are getting killed. We had an innocent 18-year-old college young lady in Chicago get shot in the back by a dangerous criminal illegal alien. They have allowed this, and their votes on the floor are going to show you one more time what they're for. They want that to continue. We have to fund these agencies of government, and that's what our CR is going to do.
On Monday, the Senate holds a pro forma session where Johnson says Republicans will try to pass the House bill through unanimous consent, but it will likely go nowhere. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer saying a 60-day CR that locks in the status quo is dead on arrival in the Senate, and Republicans know it. We've been clear from day one. Democrats will fund critical homeland security functions, but we will not give a blank check to Trump's lawless and deadly immigration militia without reforms. President Trump is indicating where he stands, telling our Jackie Heinrich it's not good to have a bill that won't fund ICE. He's calling for an end to the filibuster, but he conceded there aren't enough votes to nuke the 60-vote threshold. He is wielding his executive authority, though, signing an executive order to pay TSA workers. DHS says workers could get paid as early as Monday, which should hopefully mitigate some of the long lines at airports throughout the country, including here at BWI, where wait times topped more than 4 hours. In Baltimore, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
And after weeks without pay, TSA agents may soon be receiving paychecks again following an executive order signed by the president on Friday. This comes after negotiations on Capitol Hill came to a standstill once again on how to fund the Department of Homeland Security. The fight for money alongside the ongoing war in Iran is now causing the president's approval ratings to take a hit. Fox News correspondent Max Gordon has a story.
No Kings rallies drew massive crowds on the east and west coasts this weekend.
I don't like foreign wars. I don't like excessive government spending.
Similar scenes in Europe, with Americans abroad also taking a stand. Protesters expressing anger over the war in Iran and President Trump's policies.
He made 3 campaign promises: no more wars, lower prices, and release the Epstein files. He has done the complete opposite of all 3 of those things.
And it's not just the president's critics angry over the war. The latest Fox News poll finds some 64% of registered voters disapprove of how President Trump is handling Iran. That's up from 57% in January. Adding fuel to the discontent, the war's impact here at home, where rising prices at the pump and grocery stores remain top of mind. According to the Fox News poll, some 86% of voters are extremely or very concerned about inflation and high prices. Ongoing funding issues at the Department of Homeland Security also not helping with the mood, as hundreds of unpaid TSA employees quit are called out at airports across the country. This has led to hours-long waits for travelers and sparked concerns over safety.
We need to fully fund not just TSA, but all of Homeland Security, because we have real threats in America.
All this now creating some of the worst approval ratings on record for the president. His overall job rating stands at 41% approve and 59% disapprove. This is a marked shift from a year ago when some 51% of registered voters disapproved. And the DHS funding lapse set a record this weekend, becoming the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Max Gordon, Fox News.
In other news, Tiger Woods was freed on bail Friday night, hours after he was jailed in Florida on suspicion of driving under the influence. Woods crashed his car Friday afternoon, rolling it onto the driver's side. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith has the latest from Stuart, Florida, just north of Palm Beach.
Tiger Woods spent about 8 hours behind bars in this jail behind me. He was released on bail, but has yet to talk publicly about his situation, even as questions are growing not only about this criminal case, but the future of his golfing career. Late Friday, the Martin County Sheriff's Office released Woods' latest mugshot. This is the second time the 50-year-old had been arrested for DUI. Police say Woods had passed a breathalyzer test, but also appeared to be under the influence of either medication or drugs.
He is cooperative, but he was not trying to incriminate himself. So he was careful in what he said and didn't say. And when it came time again for the test, the urine test at the jail, he stopped that.
Investigators admit they do not know how fast Woods was traveling at the time of this crash, but they believe he attempted to pass a pressure cleaning truck on a 2-lane road. Woods' car, a Land Rover SUV, clipped the back of the truck and basically flipped over. Friday's accident appearing much less severe compared to one that happened in February of 2021. When the golfer was severely injured after his SUV flipped while the athlete was rushing to a photo shoot in California. Woods was not accused of DUI in that crash, but he faced charges after being found asleep at the wheel back in 2017. That also happened near his Florida home. On Friday, President Trump, who is close with Tiger Woods, addressed the situation.
I feel so badly. He's got some difficulty. There was an accident, and that's all I know. Very close friend of mine. He's an amazing person, amazing man.
The sheriff's office admits that Woods is a celebrity, but they've also gone to great lengths this weekend to insist he was not getting any special treatment. We've yet to learn what this may mean for Tiger's plans for the upcoming Augusta National Golf Tournament, the Masters. In Stuart, Florida, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
And folks, still to come here on Fox 22 News at 10, the poultry industry is seeing increased production and lower prices. We'll have more details on that. And later on, one of the year's biggest events for raising money for cancer research in Maine happened today in Saco. Those stories and more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continues.
At Pat's Pizza in Hamden, every day is delicious. Tuesday, pasta specials and cheesy breadsticks. Wednesday, large one-topping pizza, just $9.50. Thursday, hoagies and fries. Fridays, fish and fries. And Saturday, pizza and a fountain soda. Dine in, only $9.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, from the longest-lasting brand, you could save up to $6,000 with 2.99 per 72 on most 2026 Tundra models. Plus, get $1,000 bonus financing cash.
Go from dreaming it to driving it today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Need a safe and caring place for your loved one during the day? At the Merchant Center Adult Day program, we provide a supportive environment where adults can enjoy companionship, engaging activities, and personalized care in a setting that feels like home. Our experienced staff is committed to meeting each person's unique needs while promoting independence, dignity, and overall well-being. Families can feel confident knowing their loved ones are in compassionate, capable hands.
John Brown first opened his own appliance store in Ellsworth in 1976. With his gift of storytelling, a strong work ethic, and a philosophy of putting others first, John and his wife and children saw the business prosper and grow. Today's third and fourth generation of family and their entire team continue to follow the example set by their grandparents and parents. Brown Appliance and Mattress, High Street, Ellsworth, a family tradition of quality, value, and customer service that always puts you first.
At Pat's Pizza in Hamden, every day is delicious. Tuesday, pasta specials and cheesy breadsticks. Wednesday, large one-topping pizza, just $9.50. Thursday, hoagies and fries. Fridays, fish and fries. And Saturday, pizza and a fountain soda. Dine in, only $9.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. For Fox 22 News at 10, I'm Doug Banks. $43 million in new funding is available to support the installation of heat pump water heaters here in Maine. The funding is through a multi-state initiative supported by a federal grant to rapidly increase the adoption of heat pump technology across the region. Incentives funded by the program are now available for eligible households through Efficiency Maine rebates of over $1,000. The rebate is provided as an instant discount on heat pump water heater purchases at participating Maine distributors and retailers. A press release from the governor's office says water heating accounts for about 18% of a home's energy use, making it the second largest energy expense for most households after heating. A bond package of over $200 million has passed the legislature's Appropriations Committee. Legislative leaders say the money will be invested in Maine's future, and Maine voters might get the final say. Our Kelly Warren explains.
This includes everything from housing production to infrastructure to clean water to transportation, rural economy, higher education.
A funding package of $207.5 million has advanced in the legislature, bringing Mainers one step closer to being able to vote on what legislative leaders say are essential funding bonds.
I mean, the reason I'm so passionate about bonds is because it doesn't reach into people's wallets in that way. It takes it, the burden away from people's property taxes or income taxes.
The package includes $65 million in funding for transportation maintenance and upgrades. $45 million is set aside for agriculture, conservation, and forestry to support Maine farmers and foresters. $15 million is allocated to resiliency infrastructure and culverts to reduce storm damage. $20 million is set to fund rural affordable housing and mobile home development, while another $20 million goes to residential sewer and water. $20 million will support the expansion of wastewater treatment systems to protect public health and clean water. The package also sends $18.5 million to the University of Maine system to remove underutilized buildings and invest in campus infrastructure. Additionally, $4 million is allocated to court system infrastructure in the Newport region, something that Newport legislator and lawyer Kenneth Fredette has been consistently advocating for.
And a lot of people just in this part of the state are not comfortable driving to Bangor, going into the big city, so to speak. So, for those people that need emergency protection orders, divorces, all that stuff, it's really critical to them.
The proposal is expected to go in front of the legislature next week. If passed by a 2/3 majority, it will go before Maine voters as a statewide referendum in November, with each funding measure to be voted on separately.
The Maine taxpayers can decide as an entire state what we want to go out and bond and invest on.
Callie Warren reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A bill aiming to lower the cost of insulin was introduced down in Washington earlier this week. The Improving Needed Safeguards for Users of Life-Saving Insulin Now Act would cap the cost of insulin at $35 per month for Americans on private and employer insurance and create a pilot program to provide insulin at the same cost to Americans without insurance. It would also establish an insulin resource center for people with diabetes who are uninsured. The bipartisan piece of legislation was introduced by Senator Susan Collins alongside other lawmakers. A link to the complete text of the bill can be found on our website, foxbangor.com. Well, after an extended period of challenging bird flu cases, the poultry industry is rebounding, increasing production and helping to lower prices. Fox News' Chris DeMio reports.
While it seems like prices remain high for just about everything, experts in agricultural economics are giving consumers some good news to crack into.
Well, I think we all know about the rapid rise of egg prices, record highs of a year ago, but what's happened is they've come down.
According to Dr. David Anderson of Texas A&M University, bird flu impacts on egg-laying hens have calmed.
But what's happened is the avian influenza has slowed down a little bit, and we've had time to rebuild our flocks, time to get more chickens, to start producing more eggs.
Highly pathogenic avian influenza is very contagious among birds. The Department of Agriculture says if one bird is infected, farmers must kill the entire flock to contain the disease. But chickens are making a comeback.
We got 315 million egg-laying hens on March 1. It's the most for March since 2022. So we're really rebuilding our flocks. It's certainly more, it's about 8% more than we had a year ago. A year ago, we had about 291 million.
Industry experts say it's normal for prices to slightly rise the closer we get to Easter, but note costs should still go over easy on your wallet.
In the wholesale market, we've crept up a little bit but still prices are less than half of what they were a year ago. Whether we're looking at the retail price data from the Consumer Price Index or in the underlying wholesale market, egg prices are way below where they were a year ago.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
All right, folks, after the break, the weekend review. What stories made the list? Find out next.
The game of survival is in your hands.
Let's go! Oh my God.
I should have applied for the floor.
Extracted, all new Mondays on Fox.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salad, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
Lease a new 2026 Sportage LX front-wheel drive for $249 a month.
Tired of worrying whether your credit will hold you back from getting a car? At Down East Credit Union, we believe everyone deserves reliable transportation, even with less than perfect credit. Let us guide you every step of the way. If your credit score is under 670 or you've had setbacks like bankruptcy or repossession, that doesn't mean you're out of options. We'll help you get pre-approved, guide you through car shopping, and work with you on a plan to rebuild your credit. Reach out to Down East Credit Union today. Let's get you on the road confidently.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salad, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
Welcome back and welcome into our weekend show segment, The Weekend Review. Where each Saturday and Sunday, we take suggestions to stories here at ABC 7 and Fox 22, ranging from breaking news to feel-good features that stood out to you during our weekday and air them in its entirety. First, new details were revealed on Wednesday, following the sudden passing of Skowhegan Town Manager Nicholas Nadeau. Those details provided by the Maine State Police say Nadeau was under investigation for online sexual exploitation prior to his death. The investigation into Nadeau began earlier this month when the State Police Special Victims Unit received a, quote, direct report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. State Police says the tip originated from a 14-year-old girl in Florida who reported inappropriate online communication with him, a Winslow resident. Investigators then found evidence against the 32-year-old consistent with sexual exploitation offenses. A memo sent out by Skowhegan interim town manager Donnie Zalewski on Wednesday said the town's select board first learned about the investigation into Nadeau on the day of his death. The town select board announced his death last Sunday. Nadeau took over as interim town manager last May and was officially named town manager the following month. Their Wednesday memo also said in part, quote, Nick was not the subject of any investigation by the Skowhegan Police Department or the town at the time of his death, end quote. The director of operations for the chief medical examiner's office told us on Wednesday that it appears his manner of death was suicide. Authorities say the investigation was in its preliminary stages, and because of his death, state police say their case is now closed and no charges will be filed. Next, an invasive insect that's left a path of destruction across the United States and Canada has now been detected here in Maine. But leaders in one Down East community told our Alex Schley last Monday that they aren't waiting to see what happens. Here's that story.
Ellsworth City Council is weighing a proposal to set aside $100,000 in next year's budget to protect the city's tree canopy. In recent years, surrounding communities have detected the emerald ash borer, an invasive species that targets and kills ash trees.
So what it does is it lays eggs in the bark of the tree, and then larvae hatch underneath the bark and they eat their way around, and it cuts off the nutrients in the water that the trees need in order to survive.
Ellsworth faced a similar threat in the 70s and 80s when Dutch elm disease swept through the area, devastating local tree cover.
And Ellsworth didn't do anything, and we lost all of our elm trees here. We had lost so much canopy cover. High Street used to be a beautiful closed canopy elm road.
City leaders say this time they want to be proactive.
And right now we know about it, and there are things we can do about it.
If approved, the funding would go towards identifying and treating at-risk trees.
We're asking for this funding for our next fiscal year is so that we'll have the ability to treat identified trees, not this spring, but next spring. The timing is really important in terms of the treatment of the trees. We can't do it before the leaves come out of the trees because you need the leaves.
In the meantime, officials say the money would also help build a more complete understanding of the problem and how to best address it.
We have a general sense of where they are and how many we have, but we need to collect information about their condition and their size, and that's important to know for treatment.
The city's Arbor Commission has formally requested the funding be included in next year's budget. Officials say a final decision is expected when the budget is finalized in June. In Ellsworth, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Finally, for athletes, March can often be an unpredictable month while they wait for spring sports to begin. But as our Jody Hersey found out, students, educators, and staff at Old Town High School have found a fun way to fill the time thanks to co-ed intramurals.
On the hardwood at Old Town High School, students have traded in basketballs for volleyballs.
It really is just a way for kids to do something, stay active between winter and spring seasons.
Co-ed intramural volleyball is an annual event at the school every March. This year there were so many students interested in playing, PE teacher Lucas Grinnell was able to field 12 teams.
I have senior captains that draft their teams. So we have a big list of kids that they go through and they take a lunch and we draft their teams. So they pick them all and they get them together.
Senior Taylor Madden has played all 4 years, teaming up with students from other grades.
It's just fun to be able to connect with different grades, and we always just have so much fun. It's never even about the score, it's just about having fun with your friends.
Michael Carroll's team is so invested, they even had their own team t-shirts made.
And this year we figured out that we probably need a team name because nobody else had a team name last year. We did, we won, so we figured might as well carry that energy over.
Students involved admit they're looking to knock off the top team in the competition, which is made up of staff and administrators from Old Town High School.
It gets teachers interacting with kids in a different setting, other than the classroom. They're here in the gym, they're having fun. So not to brag, but they're atop the leaderboard right now.
Volleying for points, for fun, and for bragging rights.
Everyone wants to play, everyone just wants to be included, and everyone does, so it's perfect.
In Old Town, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And as the Weekend Review segment continues, we like you at home to be a part of it. Didn't see a story you thought should have been included? Well, then email us throughout the week at weekendreview@wvii.com with what stories during the past week made an impact or stood out to you. Tune in again next Saturday night here on Fox 22 News at 10 for a new slate of local stories. All right, folks, after the break, Chase Ropanek has your full 5-day forecast.
We will start off your work week tomorrow with some temperatures reaching up into the 50s. Going to feel a lot more like spring, but with it being spring, we will have more chances for rain and snow as well as temperatures fall throughout the week. When exactly will that arrive? We'll have those answers coming right up.
Bring on the spring at the Honda Spring Event with the 2025 Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson and Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson and Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
Bring on the spring at the Honda Spring Event with the 2025 Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
No one could know. TV smash hit Memory of a Killer is all new Mondays on Fox.
Slowly warming up for your Sunday today. We saw the partly to mostly cloudy skies. More of the cloud cover up north for today, where your temperatures were cooler in the mid to upper 30s. Saw 39 in Millinocket, 34 in Presque Isle, but 43 here in Bangor for today. Some 30 still off to the east, but as you head down to the southwest, that's where your warmest temperatures for today were. 45 in Portland and 47 in Sanford for today. Now for tonight, our temperatures are going to be back above average, hanging right around freezing for tonight. May fall into the upper 20s, but as you see further north, you got a better chance for mid to upper 20s for you, but temperatures won't be as less as you think they usually are for this time of year. As we head into tomorrow, going to see the clearer skies here in the Bangor region all the way down to Portland. Now, definitely a possibility of reaching the low 60s for tomorrow with a lot of cloud cover up north with some sinking air up there as well. We may keep us in the upper 50s for tomorrow, but many of us will get close to 60. Got much better chances for those low to mid 60s as we head down into the South Paris and Portland area for tomorrow afternoon, while the rest of us will hang out mainly in the 40s. So average highs right around 45. We will be above that for tomorrow, reaching the upper 50s, potentially getting near 60 for tomorrow. Tuesday, we're definitely feeling much cooler air in the area. It's going to bring a wintry mix back in the town, looking at highs only near 40, but we'll jump right back up. A warm surge of air with that system that's bringing the wintry mix will hit us early Wednesday morning, bring those highs into the mid-50s, but then falling temperatures after that. You'll feel the effects Thursday and the Friday, back in the mid-30s, but we'll creep back near average into next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with those temperatures back in the mid-40s. So winds out there, not too bad for tonight. We're going to stay light into tomorrow. That breeze will be back, not as strong as the models are predicting here. We can see it right around 5 to 15 miles per hour from the east for tomorrow ahead of that system, but we'll be all right. We've seen much stronger winds. Now, heading into your Tuesday morning, as you can see, pretty light again. Those winds will die down after the afternoon for tomorrow, and then they'll stay pretty light into your Tuesday. So throughout tonight, we'll see more increasing cloud cover. We do have a slight chance for a few rain and snow showers early on, otherwise dry, but then there will be a boundary getting ready to pass through Monday afternoon. Now you can see here, still plenty of sunshine in the Bangor region. That's why we're going to be warming up specifically in the Bangor region into Portland for tomorrow. While you got all that cloud cover up north, still going to warm up, but you got better chances for rain showers. It does look to fall apart as it tries to reach into the Bangor area, so most likely going to stay dry. Then here comes that wintry mix. The recent model analysis has pushed it a little bit more south, giving us a better chance for that sleet, that freezing rain or snow, right? So you're seeing that here at 11 a.m. Keep in mind, we can see this shift a little bit more north, which means better rain chances and warmer temperatures heading into your Tuesday. But just keep that in mind. We got a wintry mix coming to the state for Tuesday afternoon. So for tonight, we got lows in the upper 20s. Some of us hanging out in the low 30s. We'll see increasing clouds with a few sprinkles or flurries, depending on your temperature is above or below freezing. For tomorrow, highs in the upper 50s. Some of us could reach near 60. Partly cloudy and a slight chance for some scattered rain showers out there, mainly staying north of town for tomorrow. So taking a look at your extended forecast, temperatures will fall again into your Tuesday with a chance for a wintry mix that includes rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, with highs only near 40, but back into the mid-50s momentarily Wednesday. A few lingering showers are possible. Increasing clouds Thursday, cooler temperatures back in the 30s, and will stay in the 30s with another chance for rain and snow heading into your Friday.
If very interesting week of weather ahead. Thank you, Chase, for that report. Folks, sports is next with Max Sturm, so stay right here. We'll be right back.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Craving something delicious? Welcome to High Street Market, located at 167 Enfield Road in Lincoln. Breakfast options? Grab a cup of coffee and try one of our sandwiches or burritos. When breakfast is over, we're just getting started. Pizza, subs, burgers, and pastries. Come get lost in Danny's Beer Cave. Order online and save 10% off your first order. High Street Market, where your taste buds go to party.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota. Awesome! I like it. I love it.
Now, from the longest-lasting brand, you could get an affordable $299 a month lease on a rugged, fuel-sipping Tacoma with a total contract cost of $15,464.
Go from dreaming it to driving it today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
So what's it like being a doctor in Port Wynn?
This town is ridiculous.
Come on, you're starting to like it here.
Best Medicine, all new Tuesdays on 5.
Welcome back in, folks. On Friday night, Piscataquis Community High School held an Athletes Honors Night to celebrate the school's athletic accomplishments. I made the trip to Guilford to cover the story.
That's just great because it builds culture around here. It shows that, people care about you and it pushes you to work harder.
Friday night was a special one for Piscataquis Community High School and the Pirates, who celebrated the accomplishments of teams and athletes both current and past with the raising of all new banners in the gymnasium. The school's athletic director, Tom Pansiera, says many of these accomplishments get overlooked and that they all deserve recognition.
Just to have these guys come back and recognize them, and we had so much awesome stuff happen this year so far, so just threw it all together in one night.
It didn't take long for the tears to start flowing as Pansiera, who is also the track and field coach, presented senior Ava Golette with a banner for her 2024 Class C state title and shared a special moment together on the floor.
I will always be grateful that I had the opportunity to be coached by him, and he's definitely the highlight of my athletic career here.
She's a special kid. I got a lot of them. I've coached for a lot of years, and I'm just real proud of her.
Next up was wrestling. 4 100-time winners were honored by the Pirates on Friday. Among them is senior Brady Ball, who says it was a surreal feeling knowing his name will hang in the rafters.
Considering, there's only 6 people that have ever done it around there, at least. I'm not sure the exact number. It was awesome. I just feel special getting my name on the wall.
One of the more recent accomplishments achieved in a Pirates uniform comes from Brady Gaw, who this past season added his name to the list of 1,000-point scorers. And now the banner reflects that.
It's great. I come to these games every single night, and I see all those names. I want my name up there. So all the nights coming in here that's what I was chasing.
Chloe Kimball is one of the former Pirates athletes recognized on Friday, as she and the rest of the 2025 girls tennis team were honored for their North Regional Championship.
Very cool. A lot of our athletics were a very small school, so any recognition towards anything that we do is great.
Lastly, the boys soccer team was commended for their 2025 undefeated 8-person state championship. Unfortunately, their banner did not arrive in time, but instead, each player was presented with their championship jackets, a gold ball replica, and a championship ring.
When I lift up the jacket, it's wow. But it was a great feeling seeing that.
It'll be a night none of these athletes or coaches will ever forget. In Guilford, Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports.
Really cool event out there at PCHS. Now bringing it back close to home in Orono, the Maine hockey team has lost another key player to pro hockey. Earlier this week, the Black Bears lost Josh Nadeau and Frank Jurasevich to the AHL, And on Friday evening, news broke that Thomas Friel will also be leaving as he has signed with the ECHL to join the Iowa Heartlanders, who are an affiliate of the Minnesota Wild. During his career at Maine, Friel tallied 23 goals and 46 assists for a total of 69 points. On top of that, he scored 12 power play goals and was the team captain for the Black Bears in 2025. The Black Bears will surely spend this offseason looking to find players to fill the holes left by the recent departures. Now, we've covered the Husson University men's lacrosse team a whole lot over the last couple of weeks, but the women's team is doing just as well and finally had a home game on Saturday versus Thomas. The Eagles look to improve to 5-2 on the season in their first conference game of 2026, and they get it going right out of the gate. Gracie Gardner finds Layla Martinez, and she nets it to put Husson on the board. Then Gardner drives to the net, lays one low, but it's stopped by Bristol Stein. What a save by the goaltender, but it wasn't long before Husson got back on the board. This time, Kate Bumkey, tough angle, still gets it to go, and Husson kept pouring it on, and the Eagles' all-time goal leader Avery Baker cashes in for her first goal of the day, and that's just one quarter. Second quarter now, Madison Lower on the free position shot, gets it to go. She had 3 on the day. Thomas would get a couple more goals to fall in this game, including this one from Isabella Pelletier, but Avery Baker nets her second of 5 total goals, and the Eagles soar to a 16-6 victory. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
See the brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Enjoy your new car. Yeah, you too.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE for $209 a month or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
When you're ready to remodel your kitchen, find all the materials and services you need at Hammond Lumber Company. Get inspired by the extensive in-store displays in Hammond's kitchen, bath, and flooring division. Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And all design fees are refunded when you purchase your materials from them. And Hammond delivers from 34 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. When it's time for a new kitchen, it's time to bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers central and eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
Need a safe and caring place for your loved one during the day? At the Merchant Center Adult Day program, we provide a supportive environment where adults can enjoy companionship, engaging activities, and personalized care in a setting that feels like home. Our experienced staff is committed to meeting each person's unique needs while promoting independence, dignity, and overall well-being. Families can feel confident knowing their loved ones are in compassionate, capable hands.
It's back, Bangor! The Greater Bangor Area Music Showcase returns with the fan favorite music off Broadway. Join Roger George and his talented musicians for an unforgettable show, all to support Rotary's work in our local community. Saturday, April 11th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, April 12th at 3 p.m. Getting your tickets is easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen. Bring your friends, bring your family, and enjoy a show that makes a difference. Don't miss it.
See the brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Enjoy your new car. Yeah, you too.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Kona SE for $139 a month or get 3.49% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
We're ready for baseball, and off we go.
Major League Baseball, all season long on Fox.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. While it might sound like a small change, sleeping for 11 minutes more each night may significantly reduce the risk of a heart attack. According to a new study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology, on top of longer sleep, 4.5 more minutes of brisk walking and eating an extra 50 grams of veggies per day have also been found to lower a person's risk of having a heart attack and stroke by roughly 10%. Good information to know there. And due to the partial government shutdown, TSA and Coast Guard employees have not received paychecks since February 14th. The community of Trenton is stepping in to ease that burden. On Saturday, WDEA radio host Chris Popper broadcasted live from Edwards Brothers Supermarket in Trenton to help raise awareness and make a difference. Folks at the supermarket could donate gift cards of up to $20 in value or donate cash to be turned into gift cards. TSA agents are not allowed to accept gift cards of over $20 or any amount in cash. These donations support 7 TSA agents in Trenton, 50 in Bangor, and 90 Coast Guard members.
Listen, people in Maine are so incredibly generous. I have said for 20 plus years, Mainers take care of Mainers and those they love. And it is never more evident in something like this today.
Between the Edwards Brothers fundraiser and other donations accepted across Hancock County, Popper says over $2,000 was raised. If you want to support your local TSA agents, he advises you to leave donations at your local airport. And with inflation on the rise, affording meals can be tough on Mainers and their families. Bangor area radio stations spent their Saturday stepping in to help. Radio show hosts from Q106.5, Z107.3, and 95.7 I-95 Rocks were at the Brewer Hannaford collecting boxes of pasta, pasta sauce, and cash donations. As part of their annual Ton of Pasta event, where they attempt to collect 1 ton of pasta for local food pantries.
We do not care if you can donate $1, 1 box. It's so helpful because you don't know if it's your neighbor that needs it, co-worker, somebody might need it that you know, and it's so important to help everybody out there.
Sproul estimates the food drive brought in enough pasta to feed over 4,000 Mainers. If you missed the event but still want to help Mainers in your community, Sproul encourages you to donate to your local food pantry. And finally here tonight, one of the year's biggest events of raising money for cancer research in Maine happened today in Saco. Since 1999, tens of thousands of people have come together for Mary's Walk, raising money for the Maine Cancer Foundation. Alison LaPierre has our last story here tonight.
For 28 years, participants from near and far have gathered in Saco to walk in honor of loved ones battling cancer, which all began with Mary Carey Libby.
After Mary's death from Burkitt's lymphoma, we were looking for a way to express our grief and our sorrow, and Mary used to walk this route every day, and Mary's Walk kind of was the result of that.
This year, over 800 walkers followed Mary's 2-mile walk through downtown Saco.
It's about community and valuing the community's contribution to people who have cancer.
Mary's Walk has inspired other groups like Red Storm Strikes Out Cancer, a group of Scarborough students and staff who's raised over $150,000 for Maine Cancer Foundation. Scarborough Teacher and Group founder Doug Bennett says his experience participating in Mary's Walk 2 decades ago inspired him to start the group.
The hope is we just plant a seed for some kid somewhere to get motivated to find a cure, because somebody out there is finding a cure. It's just a matter of when.
Many walkers come back every year for Mary's Walk, like Betty Abdallah and Susan Goodenough, who come home to the area every year to participate.
Our father died of stomach cancer, and my husband just died 2 years ago of multiple myeloma. So finding a cure is very important to us.
Abdallah says the event helps bring the community together for a good cause.
We try to do what we can to support the cause and to support research into cancer.
Event organizers say this year's walk raised over $125,000 for Maine Cancer Foundation.
And that's all we have for tonight. I'm Doug Banks, and from everyone here at Fox 22 News at 10, thank you for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, and hopefully you are too. Until then, take care and good night.
Season, baby.
welcome to Maine. Roads get messy, but we don't complain. Winter's fading, spring's in between. It's our extra little season here in Maine. Tires spinning as the back roads flow. Sun shining, but the back roads say whoa. Yeah, it's sloppy, but it's all part of the scene. Living that extra muddy season in Maine. Tires spinning as the back roads flow. Sun shining, but the back roads say whoa. Yeah, it's sloppy, but it's all part of the scene. Living that extra muddy season in Maine.
Step into a story that's funny, touching, and deeply human. Winterport Open Stage presents The Dining Room by A.R. Gurney. This unique production blends a series of scenes into a heartfelt look at family and tradition. Performances run May 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th at 7 p.m., with matinees May 3rd and 10th at 3 p.m. at Samuel Wagner Middle School in Winterport. For tickets, visit winterportopenstage.net or find Winterport Open Stage on Facebook.
We have a game-changing twist. Whoever wins the most duels will have their turf frozen. People are going to get rewarded for being aggressive.
The Floor premieres April 8th on Fox.
You're watching Fox 22 Bangor.